So we'll start with the starting prayer of the text. Vasudevendra yogindram natva jnana pradam gurum mumukshunam hitarthaya Tattva Bodah vidhiyate. So we'll quickly recap whatever we have learnt in the text so far. So we started with the fourfold qualifications required for self-knowledge. Viveka, Vairagya, then the sixfold qualities starting with Sama, Dhamma, etc. and Mumukshutvam. So these four qualifications are essential for study of self. The next section, which is about the microcosm, which is described in detail. So the text started with a big proclamation that only Atma is Satyam, everything else is Mithya, which means everything is seemingly real. It is not real, but seems to be real. So it's a very loud statement. The text started with a loud statement, the teaching. Then there was a definition of Atma given in the text, which is Atma is beyond the three bodies, the Panchakoshas, and the three states. So Atma is something other than all this. So other than Atma, whatever is there, we can call it as Anatma. So that was the first statement made by the author. Then the three bodies, the author started with the first body, which is the Sthula Sharira, the physical body. The physical body, as we came to know, it is made up of the 5 elements in a grossified form. They are not subtle, though the elements are all subtle, but through a process of grossification, which again the author will be explaining in due course, the process how the grossification happens. That is the beauty of this text, where he doesn't leave anything to imagination. He gives a statement and then he explains each and everything in that. And that is how the teaching is. The teaching should make you helpless but to accept, because you will, at the end of the teaching, you will not have any doubts. The doubts will be only about your understanding rather than what is given in the text. So that is a beautiful methodology of teaching. So each one, before the student asks, the next question is there. So whatever is given there, it is explained again as it comes. So the Sukshma, the Sthula Sharira, as we got to know, is made up of 5 elements in grossified form. It is given, it is acquired through our past actions, the type of body, the type of parents, the place, everything depends on our past karmas where we acquire this body. And then this body is the medium to experience everything, the good, the bad, everything. So this is what we learnt about the Sthula Sharira. Now the next question is automatically, since the author has already said the 3 bodies, Sthula, Sukshma and Karana Sharira. So the next question is, as we move on, is about the Sukshma Sharira. So let us just read the question, then we will understand more about it. The question is, Sukshma Shariram Kim? What is a subtle body? So the answer given is apancha panchikrita pancha mahabhutai kritam satkarmajanyam sukha dukkhadi bhoga sadhanam pancha jnanendriyani pancha karmendriyani pancha pranadayo manaschaikam buddhischaikkvam saptadasha kalabhihi saha yathishtati tat Sukshma Shariram. Again, the author has given a very long explanation, but we need not worry because he is going to again explain each aspect separately. So, if you look at the direct meaning, it says Sukshma Shariram is nothing but it is that body which is made up of the 5 original elements before grossification. That is, the Sthula Shariram is made up of the grossified form of the 5 elements. The Sukshma Shariram is made up of ungrossified, that means as they are. Is born of, again like the Sthula Sharira, born of good actions of the past janmas. It is an instrument for the enjoyment of pleasures and sorrows, and the one which abides in the body and has 17 parts, namely the 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action, the 5 pranas, the mind and the intellect. So these are the 17 instruments which are there in the Sukshma Sharira. So we will be looking at in detail. So this is what is there, what consists of the Sukshma Sharira, what it is, he has given in this definition. We will be understanding each of these aspects in detail. Now, Sukshma means subtle. I think even in Tamil, I think Sukshma Marikana, I think it is, means it is very subtle, something which is not obvious to the naked eye. So now we are moving into an area where we cannot see what it is, because it is subtle. The body is very easily identifiable because it is gross. So anything which is gross, we can see, we can identify, we can know how it functions, and we know more about it. But when it comes to the subtle, our awareness becomes very limited. We just go by assumption. In fact, our whole culture is based on a lot of subtle things. That is why probably the Westerners and the modern science are unable to understand many of our activities, and hence they sort of make they ridicule our system because it is not seen. But our rishis were much more advanced scientists than probably the modern scientists, because they knew about the gross as well as the subtle. So anything we take, for example, they call us idol worshippers. They think we are worshipping a stone. In fact, how a stone becomes a deity is a process of infusing prana into that deity. If a stone is there, even if there is a statue of a deity kept somewhere, it doesn't become God. But when it is installed in an altar, which again is constructed with certain specifications, and then we do what is called as the pratishtha, where a life is infused, the prana is infused into the stone and it becomes a deity. So this is something which is probably very new to the modern science, and because it is not seen, they are not able to accept. unfortunately, it has been, what would I say, they have created an impression that we are actually, what to say, we are something, because we worship all these things, we are inferior. I mean, they have given us an inferiority complex, though in truth we are much superior than any of those people. That's unfortunate. So, the more we understand our culture, the more we will understand the subtle part of everything. When we offer, people say, okay, you are offering prasadam to the deity, does the deity come and eat? They don't understand the subtle part which is taken by the deity, not the gross part. It is not that you offer a fruit and one piece of the fruit is missing after the deity takes it. No. The subtle part of the... In fact, even the diet we take, the gross part goes to the body, the subtle part goes to the mind, which we not... That is why when we eat certain foods, when we take, we feel fresh, mentally alert. And certain food when we take, we feel very dull, and mind also sort of becomes very lazy, and especially if you take a lot of fried things, lot of yes, Sriram?
We call it as sattvic food, rajasic food, something like that.
Yeah. All that will come. In due course, in the text will cover everything. Nothing will be left to our imagination. Everything is going to be explained in detail. So this is what is Sukshma, the subtle. So now coming to the subtle body, the first thing that it says is subtle body is made up of ungrossified same 5 elements. So there is no big difference between the matter is the same whether it is a body or a mind. There is an English saying, no, mind over matter. In fact, both is matter. The gross part we call it as the body, and the subtle part we call it as the mind. So there is nothing other than matter. So it is made up of these 5 elements in ungrossified form. And again, like the Sthula Sharira or the physical body, it is again because of our past karmas. So the past karmas play an important role not only in our body but also in the mind. That is what it says. Because we will again know more about the Sukshma Sharira, because the mind is also in part of the Sukshma Sharira. So it is made up of ungrossified 5 elements, and it is also through our past karmas. So this is very similar to the physical body, but there the elements were grossified. Here the elements are subtle, but both these bodies are dependent on our past karmas. So that is something which is very clear about both. Now, okay, both are similar in this thing, but what is the difference between a subtle body and a gross body? You can say the hardware. In fact, we can relate it to a computer. The computer has got a hardware and a software. Now, similarly, it's like the physical and the physical body and the subtle body. Now, the hardware, can it function without the software? It cannot. Similarly, the software cannot exist without the hardware. Both are dependent on each other. Same thing, the physical body and the subtle body, they are dependent on each other. Without the physical body, the subtle body cannot function. Without the subtle body, the physical body is useless. So, all our senses are located sense organs are located in the physical body, but the senses are located in the subtle body. So your eyes cannot function if the subtle body doesn't exist. So that is why a dead body cannot see, because the subtle body has left the dead body. The body becomes useless. So all the organs which are located in the body, the one which gives you, when you see the sight, is given by the subtle body, though the eyes are in the physical body. Again, you can draw another analogy from an electrical system. You cannot see the electricity passing through the wires, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And without the bulb, the electricity will be useless. Bulb or whatever gadget you attach to it, you will never know it functions. So without the gadget, the electricity cannot express itself. Without the electricity, the gadget is useless. Same thing, if somebody has a doubt, okay, is there a subtle body, how do I know? I cannot see it. Tell them it is like a current passing through the wire. If you have a doubt, just touch your hand on a live wire and see, you will know. So that is the very similar, where people, if they say they cannot see, so what is not seen doesn't exist is what some people think. So from this we can understand the connection between the physical body and the subtle body. Now further it says, now how it is, what it is made up of and how we get it, this is explained. And the next part is, it is the instrument to enjoy sorrow and happiness, both. Because without this, you cannot, whatever our experiences happen through the subtle body. The subtle body, and it is expressed through the physical body. But without the subtle body, we cannot enjoy or suffer, both. It is not just enjoyment, suffering also happens side by side. So both these are. And now, how does this subtle body connect with the outside world? So like, if we need to connect with the outside world, we have so many instruments. We have a phone, we have a computer, we have TV, or whatever mode of connection to connect with the outside world. We have so many instruments. Now how does the subtle body connect to the outside world? So it has got 17 elements. The 17 elements are the 5 organs of perception. Again, we will be discussing in detail what are those 5 organs of perception. The 5 organs of action, the 5 pranas, and the 2 other elements are the mind and the intellect. So these 17 instruments help the subtle body to connect to the outside world. So this is the definition.
Yeah, could you please repeat that?
Yeah. Pancha Jnanendriya, the 5 organs of perception. Pancha Karmendriya, the 5 organs of action. Pancha Prana, the 5 pranas. The mind and the intellect. So these are the 17 elements which are the instruments through which this subtle body connects to the outside world. So this is what is the definition given for a Sukshma Sharira. Now each of this is going to be explained further. Now what are the 5 organs of perception. We all know them, but again the text explains. Jayanti, you can just mute. So we'll read the definition of the 5 organs of perception. Shotram, Tvak, Chakshu, Rasana, Granamiti, Pancha Jnanendriyani. So this is the definition given for the 5 organs of perception. So what is the meaning of that is, the 5 organs of perception are the ear, the skin, the eye, the tongue and the nose. So we all know this. So it is just reconfirming that these are the 5 organs of perception through which we get input from the outside world. So hearing, smelling, touching, tasting and seeing. So these 5 organs give us the input from the outside world. Now the text also says that there are, each of these are guided by a particular deity. So the 5 organs of action or the 5 organs of perception, each has a guiding deity. So that is what the next verse says. Shotrasya digdevta tvacho vayuhu chakshuha suryaha rasanaya varunaha granisyashvinau iti jnanendriya devataha. So each of these sense perceptions have a deity. Now who are these deities? The presiding deities of each of this is, for the ear, it is, the devata is called Dik Devata. For the skin, it is Vayu Devata. For the eyes, it is Surya Devata. For the tongue, it is Varuna Devata. And for the nose, the Ashwini Devatas. There are 2 of them, Ashwinis, the twin Devatas. So each of these is, it is not that Vayu means the wind is a Devata. The principle which guides the wind is the Devata. Similarly, Surya, when we pray to Surya as the Pratyaksha Devata, one who is always seen. So it is not that directly the sun is the Devata. The Devata gives the radiance to the sun. So each of these organs, or this organs of perception, has a presiding deity. And it may sound a little unbelievable for many people. Any of these organs, if they have an issue, you pray to that particular deity, you get benefit. In fact, I have personally got the benefit for my eyes by chanting an Upanishad called Chakshusha Upanishad, which is related to the sun, and I have got the direct result of chanting. So it is not that the text says, okay, these are the devatas and how do you believe? So each of these devatas definitely has an impact on these 5 organs of perception. The next is, it also tells the scope of each of these organs, which is again all of us know, it is just reconfirming. Shotrasya Vishayo Shabda Grahanam. That means the scope of the ear is recognition of sound. Now each of this is unique. That is what it is just trying to convey. Each of these sense organs, the information that we get cannot be verified with any other organ of perception. Each of this is very unique. The next is Tvacho Vishaya Sparsha Grahanam. The scope of the skin is recognition of touch. Now, this is a very important organ of perception, because the other 4 organs are available only in one part of the body. Like speech is only through the mouth, sight is only through the eyes, hearing is only through the ear, taste is only through the tongue. But the sense of touch is there entire body. So it is probably a little more important than the other 4. It's not that the other 4 are not important, but because it covers the entire body. So that is something we need to, we know this, but only when the text says, oh, that's true. We don't really think about it in that manner. Next is Chakshusho Vishayo Rupa Grahanam. The sphere of activity of the eye is the recognition of color and form. So again we are aware of this. It is just reconfirming the activity of this particular organ. Grahanasya Vishayo Gandha Grahanamiti. The object of the nose is recognition of smell. So these 5 organs of perception connect us to the external world to get information from whatever is happening around us. Now this subtle body, the nature is made in such a way that, again taking the analogy of the hardware and the software, for the software to function you need a particular configuration of the hardware. So the mind that is available may not be available to a dog or a frog. Imagine if there is a human mind in a frog body or a dog body. So nature has ensured that whatever hardware you have, the software is suitable for that. So it's amazing how but see, the organs, the internal organs, the gross form of the organs, they are very similar in all the bodies. That's why all this medical research is done on first the animals. They try it on a guinea pig because the organs are similar. So if the guinea pig has a pancreas, they test the diabetic drugs on the guinea pig first before they try it out on us. So the way nature has made everything, the bodies are the functioning of the organs are very similar in almost all the beings. But what differentiates is the subtle body. So the subtle body is suitable for that particular body. So that is something which is very unique, and the way nature has really gone about doing its beauty, the more we understand, the more we are amazed how it functions. So these are the 5 organs of perception. Next, the 5 organs of action. Vacho devata vahinnaha hastayo rindraha padayo vishnuho. Sorry, that is the devata. The next is the 5 organs of action. Vakya Pani Pada Payu Pasthaniti Panchakarmendriyani. That is the 5 organs of action. They are the organ of speech, the hands, the legs, the organs of excretion, and the organs of reproduction. These are the 5 organs of action which are described in the text, which is available in everybody. Again, there is a presiding deity for each of these organs. That is what the next verse says. Vacho devata vahinnaha hasta yonrindraha padayo vishnuho payo mrityuhu upasthasya prajapatihi iti karmendriya devataha. So who are the presiding deities of these 5 organs of action? The 5 organs of action, the deities are: fire is the organ of the deity of the speech. Indra is the deity for the hands. Vishnu is the deity for the feet. Mrityu or Yamaraja is the deity for excretion, and Prajapati or Brahma is the deity for the reproductive organs. So again, any of these organs, when they have an issue, these deities, if we chant the mantras related to these deities, definitely there will be positive results. Only thing, we need to first chant the right kind of mantra in the right way and with Shraddha. So again, that is very important. Definitely there will be a difference when we do that. So these are the, again, what is the sphere of activity of these organs is the next verse. Vacho Vishayo Bhashanam. The sphere of activity of the organ of speech is speaking. Pranayor Vishayo Vastu Grahanam. The sphere of activity of the hands is to grasp objects. Padayo Vishayo Gamanam. The function of the legs is for movement. Paryo Vishayo Malatyagaha. The organ of excretion is to eliminate all the waste products from the body. And Upasthasya Vishaya Ananda Iti. The sphere of activity of the genitals is for reproduction and pleasure. So the 5, now we have seen what are the 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action. The next is the 5 pranas. Now the text actually doesn't describe the 5 pranas. They just talk about the 5 pranas, but they have not, this particular text doesn't explain in detail about the Pancha Pranas. Now there are 5 pranas. The name of the, in general, when we say prana, it consists of all the 5. But there is one prana which is called prana itself. The next one is called as apana. The third one is called as samana. The fourth one is called as udana. And the fifth one is called as vyana. So prana, samana, udana, vyana and apana. Prana and apana is very obvious. We can see inhalation and exhalation, we can see prana and apana. The other 3 are present in the body, but we may not be able to see their functions immediately. For example, Udana is a prana which helps to throw out if the body is not, like for example, you eat something which is not conducive to you, the Udana prana ensures that you throw it out, eject it out. So it will create that sensation for you to eject it out because it is not suitable for the body. So these 5 pranas form the Pancha Prana. So probably we will look at the Pancha Pranas a little more in detail in the next class, because it is good to understand the function of each prana. The more we understand, it gives us a little more understanding of the way we function. So the Pancha Prana, then we will also talk about the mind and the intellect, which form the 17 elements. So today we will conclude with this, and we will elaborate on the 5 pranas as well as the mind and the intellect in the next class.